It's barely one day since US President Donald Trump returned to office, and already there's some significant developments that can perhaps give an indication of how this returning US administration is going to deal with the conflict in Israel-Palestine. Let me give you a little background first. Last year, the US, under now former President Biden, took an unprecedented step and issued sanctions against more than a handful of Israeli settlers who it said were committing violence against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Now, this was a big deal because the US is obviously Israel's main global ally, and for the first time, it was trying to block the finances of individual Israeli settlers, people like Moshe Sharvit. Now, Sharvit is someone who I know well because last year, colleagues and I spent months following the actions of Sharvit as he harassed and displaced Palestinian families in the occupied West Bank. His story was featured in a BBC documentary that I directed called Above the Law. And now yesterday, just hours after taking office, Donald Trump issued an executive order canceling the sanctions against Sharvit and the other Israeli settlers imposed by the former US administration. Now that a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has stopped, or at least paused the fighting in Gaza, the situation in the other Israeli-occupied territory, the West Bank, is returning to focus. Now with this move from Trump, along with the appointment of some very pro-settlement officials to his administration, many are predicting that the actions of people like Sharvit will only increase, meaning so too will the further displacement of Palestinians in the West Bank.